सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। प्रणम्य रामाभिधमात्मधीपदम् जगत्प्रसूतिस्थितिसंयमायनम् तदात्मकान् शङ्करपूर्वकान् गुरून् मयोपदेशार्थविभाग उच्यते। The teacher is explaining the word upalabdha because Atma is consciousness. It is said that you who is the self, the consciousness, you know all the modes of the mind simultaneously, and therefore you are changeless. Because any knower, there is changing knower, such as the mind or such as the sense organs, can only know one thing at a time. A knower whom itself is subject to change will undergo a corresponding change depending upon the object of knowledge, and therefore that knower's capacities are limited. Therefore, a knower who is changing, a conventional knower, knows one thing at a time, also one by one, and that too he only can know anything partially, not in totality. Whereas you are a kind of knower who knows things in totality, simultaneously, in one sweep. If you are a knower like that, that has to be changeless. So on account of the fact that you are a knower like this, you are changeless consciousness. Understood? Now the knower is called upalabdha. Upa is the prefix, lab is the verbal root, dhatu. Upalab means to know. To that you apply the trish pratyaya, becomes upalabdha, means a knower. Understand that word upalabdha is derived by adding trish pratyaya or suffix to the verbal root upa plus labha. This trish pratyaya, the suffix, imparts a sense of agency to wherever it is applied. Like vakta. Vash plus through vakta means agent of act of vash speaking. Bhokta, the agent of the act of enjoying. Manta, the agent of the act of thinking. So upalabdha. Literal meaning would be the agent of the act of upalabdhi or perceiving. Perceiver is the agent of or the locus of the act of perception. Now how can that be limitless? If I am the knower of everything simultaneously, then I can understand the knower. If there could be a knower like that, he would be limitless. But a knower is limited. Any knower is a limited entity because he is the agent of the act of knowing. So he performs an action. So love is a root, verbal root, means kriya pada, means it is a pada or word denoting kriya or action. So knower is the one who performs the act of knowing. So how can Atma be knower and still be limitless? So the teacher said that you are right normally. Where the knower, known and knowing, they are different from each other, then the knower being separated from the knower and known, and therefore, knowing and known, it is limited. But here we are talking about the knower who is not separate from knowing and not separate from known also. He encompasses everything. There can be a knower from whom the knowing and known are not separate. If known is separate from knower, then knower also is limited, known also is limited. But here, यदि उपलब्धोः विशेषः स्यात्, what do you say that if Atma is knower, then every knower is necessarily a limited entity? That would have been true had Atma been a conventional knower for whom the knower and knowing and known are different. Here, nitya upalabdhi matra upalabdha. Here the upalabdha, the knower that Atma is nitya upalabdhi matra. He is of the nature of pure and eternal knowing. Upalabdhi means knowing. He is of the nature of knowing. So knowing is not separate from knower. And known also, of course, is not separate from knower. Therefore, this knower, the Atma is of a unique kind. The Nayayikas say that the knower and knowing are different, but no, in our case, the perceiver and perception and perceived, everything is one, because this one transcends all the three, includes all the three. Nanu upalabdhi phalavasano dhatvata kathamiti. Then the disciple says, "Oh Venerable Sir, then why did you say that in upalabdha or knower always culminates into the act of knowing? The knower utilizes the means of knowledge, such as the seer utilizes the sight or eyes as a means of knowledge, by which the perception of a color takes place. And therefore, this person is called knower when his activity culminates into the phenomenon called knowledge. Upalabdhi, so knowledge is the phalam, the result for this knower. So knower is that. When can I be called knower? Only when I know something, then I can be called knower. So knower is the one whose activity culminates into the knowledge. If I am the seer, I can be called seer only when my activity culminates into seeing a color. And that is always an event which is change, seeing something, feeling something. And therefore, if the ultimate result is change, then the one from whom that originates also must be changing. This is the argument. Teacher said that this knower is a unique kind who is not subject to change. Then how can this one result into the knowledge? Atma is a knower, then how can that knower know the colors and forms? If Atma, the Upalabdha, the knower, knows colors and forms, then when color is known, there is knower of the color and form and knower of form. How can they be then changeless? So knowledge of colors and forms and stuff takes place. And ultimately, who is a knower? Mind can be called knower in a gauna or a secondary sense, but mind itself is unconscious, therefore cannot be knower in primary sense. Only Atma is consciousness, therefore Atma alone can be knower in the primary sense. If he is knower, then knower is the one whose activity culminates into the act of knowing, which is change. So we know that all this knowledge of things take place, of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, all knowledge takes place. And Atma is a knower. How can Atma be knower of all these things and still be changeless? The teacher said that Shunu Upalabdhi Abhasa Phalavasana iti yuktam. In case of Atma, the knower, his activity does not culminate into knowing the colors and forms. Atma's activity, there is no activity really, but Atma's reach is merely being reflected in the mind, in the thought, that's all. So still Atma is called knower. What kind of knower? Whose only reach is being reflected in the thought. Is a thought then which carries out the final act of knowing of colors, forms, etc. So if knowledge of colors and forms, etc. is a phenomenon which involves a change, that change originates from the thought, thought, which is changing. So knower that the mind is a changing entity. The mind cannot become knower unless mind is blessed by the reflection of consciousness. And therefore, all that Atma is involved is the presence of the Atma. By its very presence, it gets reflected in that pot thought. That's how the knowledge of pot takes place. So, Upalabdhi Abhasa Phalavasana. The activity of the Atma only results into being reflected into the Abhasa, that's all. His activity does not culminate into the knowledge of Shabda Sparsha. The Nashrudam Tvaya, have you not listened to this? Meaning, when I say this, what is meant is not that you did not listen. When I said this, were you not attentive? If you are attentive, when I said this, then this question would not happen. But he heard all right. But still the idea of Upalabdha was predominant in his mind. And therefore, this did not quite register in his mind. What kind of Upalabdha or knower Atma is, that he is a knower merely by being there and being of the nature of consciousness. Never just gets reflected without any effort. Because it is the nature of the thought to reflect the consciousness. Just as no effort is involved on the part of sun to get reflected in water, so no effort is involved on the part of Atma to get reflected in the thought. As the thought gets enlivened and illumines the object. Nudu Atma Vikriya Utpadana Avasana iti. I did not say that Atma is responsible for the Vikriya or the change in the form of knowing his color, form, etc. Atma is responsible for just being reflected, if you want to call it responsibility, in the thought. Katham tai kutasthe mai ashesha svavisha chitta pracharopalabdhutvam ityartha. If Atma, in fact, the only role that Atma plays in the whole process of knowing, see, this explains the process of knowledge called epistemology. If Atma's role is merely getting reflected and is not a knower in the primary sense, then in primary sense, he just gets reflected. The knower, as we understand in primary sense, is the mind, which reaches out through the eyes, etc., and then illumines the object. Katham tari kutasthe mai. Then I, who is changeless, in changeless I, how can I be knower and still be changeless? Mai ashesha vishaya vichitta pracharopalubdhutvam. then how can I be called the Upalabdha knower of all the modes of the mind simultaneously? That's what you told me? So you told me that yes, Atma eva avocham. I just say it correctly. Both the things are correct. The only role that Atma has is to enliven the mind. And then all other activities take place. And still, Atma is called the knower, because without Atma, the knowing cannot take place. Teneva kutasatam abromitava. By saying that you are the simultaneous knower of all the modes of mind, I in fact communicated to you that you are kutastha or changeless. Then continuing, in the passage 84, Yadi evam Bhagavan kutastha nityopalabdhi swarupe mai. Now it is clear to him. Who am I? Kutastha nitya upalabdhi swarupa. Swarupa of the nature of nitya upalabdhi, eternal knowledge. So, changeless eternal knowledge is my swarupa. That is now clear. Shabdadi akar bauddha pratyeshu. On one hand, I am of the nature of eternal knowledge, changeless eternal knowledge. On the other hand, all these various modes of mind take place. Shabdadi akara bauddha pratyeshu cha mat swarupa upalabdhi avasa phalavasana vatsu. So, as the thoughts arise in the mind, the thoughts become enlivened with the reflection of the Atma. So, this is happening. This is swabhavika, So, what is it? Karmaja, sahaja, karmaja, Bhrantija. So this sahaja, meaning that just as sun is there and naturally gets reflected in water, similarly also variety of thoughts arise in the mind, and I am changeless and get reflected in them. So they all appear in me. All these various modes of mind all appear in me, and therefore I take myself to be them. So kastu mama aparadha. What is my fault that these things are happening? If there ever was a time when that mind was there and Atma was, it was not reflected in the mind. It's always so. And therefore they are all taken to it. Therefore I take myself to the mind. And so what is my aparadha? Satyam nasti aparadha. You don't have any, it's not your fault that you take yourself to be knower in the primary sense. Kintu avidya matrastu aparadha iti prageva avocham. I already said earlier that ignorance is the main aparadha or the main culprit. The main culprit is ignorance, not you. But you are ignorant, and therefore you along with ignorance becomes a culprit in a way, but ignorance is the culprit. So therefore, kutastha nityatva of the Atma is established in this discussion. Atma, the self, is consciousness, changeless consciousness, just shining in its own glory, and by virtue of its existence gets reflected in the mind, enlivens the mind, which then carries out all the activities. All the activities of knowing and doing and everything is carried out by the mind. But mind by itself is unconscious, therefore mind on its own cannot carry out the activities. But mind being what it is, naturally reflects the consciousness and therefore becomes enlivened by the reflection of consciousness and therefore becomes capable of performing all those activities. So manasaha manaha. Keneshitam patati preshitam manah. What is it? Because of whom? Or because of what? Because of which the mind goes to its objects, performs activities. So it's something that imparts the capability to the mind to perform its functions of knowing, seeing, thinking. And that is a self by whose presence this happens. So this is now clear to the disciple. यदि भगवान सुषुप्तेव मम विक्रिया नास्ति कथम स्वप्न जागरिते. So now the topic changes somewhat, where the main topic is to expound the kutastatvam, changelessness of the Atma. So changelessness of the Atma was explained with reference to the phenomenon of knowing. Now in another way the teacher communicates how Atma is changeless. Avasthatraya sakshitaya. Avasthatraya sakshi san, that the Atma is a witness of the three states, waking, dream and deep sleep. Dharma asparshitvena, that Atma is Sakshi, the witness of waking, dream and deep sleep, and in no way affected by the limitations or attributes of the three states. Atma is the uninvolved witness of the waking, dream, etc. So whereas change constantly takes place in the states of waking, dream and deep sleep, the one that's a witness, a illuminator, remains ever changeless, because this changes, all the attributes of waking, etc., never in any way touch or affect the Atma. And therefore, in spite of these three states of waking, etc., which are constantly changing, Atma is changeless. So then, Shishya is made to ask this question. So, यदि भगवान सुषुप्ते मम विक्रिया नास्ति कथम स्वप्न जागरिते. So, there is no vikriya in me, I am changeless. Sushupteva, in deep sleep state, that I recognize I am changeless, no change happens in me. Katham swapna jagarite, then why should there be waking and dream? In me I can understand Sushupti, because Sushupti does not bring about any change in me. But then how come there are these waking and dream states? How come the waking and dream are in me? Then I am a waker and I am a dreamer. When I am a sleeper, then I do not undergo any change. When I am a waker, I undergo change. I am a dreamer, I undergo change. So how can I be changeless and still be waker and dreamer? Sleeper I can understand. Tam Guruha, the Guru says, Kintu anubhuyete tvaya sandatam. This can be a question or it can be a statement. Kintu anubhuyete tvaya sandatam. Are these waking and dream, are they always experienced by you? Or anubhuyete, remember that you always experience the waking and dream when they take place. Meaning that yadate swarupadbhute bhavatah. If waking and dream state were your own true nature, then you could never experience them. One cannot experience oneself. One cannot become the object of experience of oneself. Because the experiencer is always different from experienced. Experiencer experiences something that is objectified. I cannot objectify myself. I cannot be simultaneously the subject and object. Therefore, I, the knower, cannot become the object of knowledge. Meaning that whatever is experienced by me, I have to be separate from whatever is experienced by me. Because I cannot be the object of my experience. So whatever is the object of my experience has to be separate from me, or I should be separate from that. Tell me, do you experience them? That means that yada te bhavataha tada na anubhuyamani bhavataha. Remember that whenever waking comes, then you are always aware of the waking. When dream comes, you are aware of dream. That means you are always aware of them. You are aware of them. Tat chaitanya prakashatvat tava svabhutvidinavaste iti na. So you are the one who eliminates the waking and dream. So you are the eliminator of that, and therefore they cannot be you, or you cannot be the waking. The waking dream cannot be you. Shishya uvacha padam anubhavami. Do you experience the waking and dream? Yes, I do experience. Santatam, do you always experience the waking and dream? Although when the teacher said you always experience waking and dream, means do you experience waking and dream whenever they happen? But he did not quite understand. He thought that teacher is asking me, do you always experience waking and dream? He said, I experience all right, but not always. Vichidya. With interruption, intervals. Now I experience waking, then dream, then sleep takes place. So I don't constantly experience them. I experience them all right, but not constantly. Santatam. All right. Then Guru says, Tarhi agantuke tu ete na tava atma bhute. If you are experiencing them, then they cannot be yourself. And if they come and go, then also they cannot be yourself. Two reasons. Agantuke. The waking and dream are agantuka, meaning that they are subject to coming and going. Agantuka is one who comes. Incidental. So, what is Swabhava? What's the nature? Nature is that which always is. Fire is always hot. Heat cannot be incidental in fire. The heat comes now and then goes away. It can happen in water. The water is hot now and then cold later. Then heat is what? Incidental in water. In which case, heat cannot be the nature of water. So waking and dream are agantuke, they are incidental, subject to coming and going, therefore they cannot be your nature. Atma bhute cannot be the nature of yourself. Yadi tava atma bhute chaitanya swarupat svata siddhe santadeva syatam. So both ways the question was, do you experience them constantly? If you experience them constantly, then they will be your nature. If waking or anything experienced constantly will be your nature. No, I don't experience them constantly, I experience them with interruption. Then it cannot be your nature. Either Atma Bhuta, if waking dream were your own nature, that is, you are a waker. Idea is that if you are a waker by nature or dreamer by nature, then Chaitanya Swarupa Svata Siddhe. In that case, they will be self-existing. Nature is that which always exists on its own, meaning that if heat is the nature of fire, then heat is there naturally in fire. Similarly also, you are Svata Siddha, particularly in case of Atma, you are self-existing, self-shining. If waker and dreamer were your nature, then waker always will be always existing. You will always be a waker. That's how it should have been actually. Waking and dream means what? When the waking comes, then I find myself a waker. When dream comes, I find myself a dreamer. Then how can I say that I am a changeless? I am changeless. Are you waker all the time? No, with interruption. Are you a dreamer all the time? No, now and then. Then now and then waker, dreamer cannot be your nature. It is incidental because of upadhi. Something causes it to happen, and then when that cause goes away, then that also goes away. Or the waking and dream, if they were your nature, then they would constantly exist. Like you are consciousness, so consciousness is always there. If waking was your nature, waking would always be there. Dream was your nature, it would always be there. Kincha, therefore, swapna jagrate na tava atma bhute. So from this is what we derive. Swapna jagrate, the waking and dream are na tava atma bhute, they are not the nature of you. Right? Vyabhichariktvat, because they are impermanent. Agamapayitvat, they are incidental, subject to coming and going, not faithful. Waking is not a faithful thing. It is there now and then leaves you. Dream also is there and leaves you. Vyabhichari. And so, therefore, it cannot be your nature. Your nature can never deceive you, meaning that can never be unfaithful to you, always be there. Vastradivata, like the garment that you wear, are there now and then go away, therefore they cannot be your nature. It's a very interesting example, very deshi example. Vastradivat. Like these garments or clothes cannot be you. Clothes are there now. Now orange cloth is there. If there is a woman who wears different saris, an orange sari, yellow sari, what is this one here? Pink? Etc. etc. So, in that case, it cannot be your nature because it is only incidental. So, this is the swapna jagrate na tava atma bhute, this is the pratigna. Vivicharitvat is the hetu. Vastradivat is the drishtanta. Now, why do you say that? Because it is vivichari. Just because something is incidental, coming and going, why can it not be my nature? Vivicharitvad hetu. Because they are incidental. Therefore, they cannot be. Just because they are incidental, why can they not be my nature? Nahi yasya yat swarum tad vivichari drishtam. We never find that the true nature ever separates from you. The true nature of you can never be separate from you. Like heat is never separate from fire. That's what we find. And this waking and dream are all incidental. Heat cannot be incidental in fire. So the Swarupa cannot be incidental. Swapna jagrate tu chaitanya matratvad vicharataha. Whereas Chaitanya Matra is constantly there, understand? Chaitanya Matra. All that we can say about Atma is Chaitanya Matra. Just nothing but pure consciousness. Nothing but consciousness. No, Atma is always conscious. In the waking state also, one thing we can say that I am conscious. What I am conscious of may keep on changing, but that I am conscious. The dream also I am conscious. Let it be shown in deep sleep also I am conscious. So Chaitanya Matratam, one thing that does not desert me, does not leave me, never becomes separate from me is this consciousness. So that is my nature, sure. But Jagarite, Swapna Jagarite, Vibhicharata. But waking and dream, they are Vibhicharata. They are again coming and going incidental with reference to consciousness. So they are separate from conscious, either you can say, or that Chaitanya Matratvat Vibhicharata. Chaitanya Matratvam is my nature. Compared to that, the waking and dream, they are Vibhicharata, changing, coming and going. So Chaitanya Matratvam really becomes the the nature here, and waking and dream are not like that. Susupte chet Swarupam. But how about Sushupti? How about the deep sleep? In the deep sleep also, if the consciousness is not there, that question will be raised. But teacher is already answering that question. That if consciousness, because you don't feel conscious in deep sleep state, if consciousness is not in deep sleep state, then tannashtam nasti iti va bhadyam va syat. In that case, consciousness is not there or consciousness is replaced by something. One of the two things. Either one is there right now and replaced by something else, or one is destroyed. Two reasons why something may not be here. Either something is gone, destroyed, or is replaced by something else. That's why that is not there. So Swamiji, this thing got broke down, is all destroyed, or we have replaced it. If similarly consciousness was not in deep sleep state, either is replaced by something else, or it gets destroyed. Agantukanam atad-dharmanam ubhayatmakatva darshanat. This is what we find with things that are coming and going. Either is replaced by something else, or it goes and never comes back. Yatha dhanavastaradinam nasha. Like the dhana, the wealth and garments, etc., which is not your nature, are seen to be destroyed at one point in time. So, what is your nature, not nature, can be destroyed or can be replaced. Swapna bhranti labdhanam to abhava. Abhava means bhadaha. What is seen in the dream also is negated by what is seen in the waking, replaced. Therefore, Chaitanya Swarupam, the consciousness is there in all the three states. Had it not been, it would not be the nature. No, evam Bhagavan Chaitanya Swarupi agantukam praptam. Bhagavan, O Venerable Sir, if the constancy is the criterion for Swarupa or one's nature, it looks to me that consciousness also is not my nature because it is not constant. Sapna jagritayoho, the waking and dream, I know that I am conscious. How? Because I am a drashta, shrota, manta, vijnata. In the waking state I know myself as, because when I am there, I am a seer, hearer, thinker, knower. That's how I am conscious. How do I know that I am conscious? Waking and dream states, I know that I am conscious because in the waking and dream I am knower, seer, hearer, thinker, knower, in waking as well as in dream. And that's how I know that I am conscious. In deep sleep state, the waker, the seer, hearer are not there. So I am not there in deep sleep state. So it looks to me like consciousness is not there in deep sleep state. Sushupte anupalabde. In Sushupti deep sleep state, I do not see or experience consciousness. Therefore, Chaitanya agantukam praptam. Either we have to say that the consciousness also is incidental. In waking it comes, in dream it comes, in deep sleep it goes away. Or I Chaitanya Swarupavaham, or I am unconscious by nature and become conscious because of something. When there's something we become and wake, I am unconscious by nature, that some people say. Vaisheshika says that Atma is unconscious by nature, and when it comes in contact with the mind, becomes conscious. So according to them, so similarly I am unconscious. When the mind comes in waking, I become conscious. It is not in deep sleep, I again become unconscious. So then there is the Vibhichara. I find that the deep sleep state, in that there is no consciousness. No, your conclusion is not right. Your conclusion that you are absent in deep sleep state, that the seer, hearer, thinker, you are absent as a seer, hearer, thinker, knower in deep sleep state. That does not mean you are absent. Na. What you say, meaning the conclusion that you derive, that you are not in deep sleep state, because in deep sleep state you don't see, you don't hear, you don't think, etc. Pashya, look, tat anupatte. Your non-existence or your incidentality it cannot be reasonable. You cannot arrive at your non-existence by reasoning. Chaitanya Swarupjit Agandukam Pashyasi. Pashya. If you think that consciousness also is incidental, then meaning that if by your reasoning you come to this conclusion that Chaitanya Swarupam consciousness also is only incidental, that is what your reasoning tells you, maybe you welcome to that. Pashya. But we cannot, with any kind of reasoning, the reasoning that we have, by that, even if we keep on reasoning for 100 years, we can never come to this conclusion that the consciousness does not exist. You have some kind of reasoning by which you arrive at the conclusion that I am not there in deep sleep. With the reasoning that we have, we can never arrive at that. Anyova achaidanyopi, even a dull-heated person also cannot arrive at. Because if you say that you are there because you are a seer, hearer, thinker, knower, if that is the criterion for your being there, then who is a seer or a hearer? Tasya samhatatvat. So you came to the conclusion that you do not exist in deep sleep state because at that time you do not see, you are not a seer, hearer, thinker, knower. But who is seer and hearer and thinker and knower? It's the composite entity. Composite entity meaning that it is consisting of more than one entities, of which part is not that in deep sleep state. It is not that the seer, hearer, thinker, knower are totally not there in deep sleep state. That's the idea. Of the seer, hearer, thinker, part is not there because seer is made up of more than one entities. What is seer? Seer requires a mind, because seeing takes place in the mind. So seer is the one who is a combination of the consciousness plus the mind. Then only a seer can be there. So when you say I am not there because seer is not there, in fact it is only one part of seer, which is mind, that is not there, not that you are not there. This is argument here. If you think that you are not there because seer is not there, because seer or hearer is your swarupam, but seer, hearer cannot be your swarupam because seer, hearer, etc. are composite entities. Swarupa can never be composite entity. Atma is asamhata, meaning that it is not an assembly, not an aggregate. These entities are assemblies. Parartham, anekatvam, nashitvam cha. So, a seer is an entity composed of the consciousness plus the mind. And therefore, samghata, it is an aggregate. Parartham, that means that he exists for someone else's purpose. Nashitvam, seer is there now and not later, then you become hearer and seer is not there. Na kenit upatya varayudum shakyam. The seer, hearer, thinker, knower is the composite entity. It is serve the purpose of someone else. It is impermanent or it is perishable. Aswarthasya swasiddhyabhavad, because what is, and then because it is dependent entity, and whatever is dependent is not self-existing. That alone is called independent, that exists on its own. If something requires something else to exist, like a pot requires clay to exist, then pot cannot be an independent entity. It's perishable. Ita vochama. Chaitanya Swarupasya tu Atmana Svata Siddhe Anya Anapekshatvam Na Kenachid Vayatum Shakyam. But of these hearer, seer, and hearer and thinker, one part, what is that? Consciousness is changeless part. Therefore, a seer means one who sees through eyes, is an entity composed of two aspects, a changeless consciousness and changing mind. What is the Swarupa? The changeless consciousness is the nature of the seer. So, Chaitanya Swarupasya to Atmana Svata Siddhe. The Atma, Chaitanya Swarupa, is self-existing. It doesn't depend upon waking. So, seer depends upon waking. Hearer depends upon waking or dream. And waking, dream are not there in deep sleep, therefore that seer here is not there. But Chaitanya doesn't depend upon waking, dream to be there, therefore it is there independently. Abhyavicharat, in all the three states it is there. Nanu Vyavicharo Darshito Maya. But already I said that there is Vyavichara. Vyavichara means what? Incidental. That consciousness is incidental, I told you. Because when am I conscious? When I am a hearer, seer, thinker. So I know that I am conscious in waking and dream, but I am not hearer, thinker, therefore I am not conscious in the deep sleep state. So either unconscious I is my nature or consciousness is incidental. I already told my reasoning. That reasoning I already told you. Sushupte na pashyami iti. That in deep sleep I don't see. I am conscious only when I see. No. Says no. Just because you do not see in deep sleep state, therefore you are not there, that cannot be the conclusion. Vyahatatvat. There is a self-contradiction in your very statement. In deep sleep state, I do not see. You know what I say? Na pashyami iti. In deep sleep state, I do not see, therefore I am not there. When can you say I do not see? For you to say I do not see, you must be there. Is it not so? I don't hear anything. That shows absence of object of hearing, but that doesn't show absence of you. Vyahatatvat. There is self-contradiction in your statement that I am not because I don't see. Katham vyagataha. What's the contradiction in my statement? Pashyatah tava na pashyami vyahatam vachanam. When you say I do not see, means you are seeing. When you say I do not see, when can you say I do not see? Only a seeing person can say I do not see, you know. A blind person will not say I do not see because he never sees. The person who sees now and does not see later can say I don't see anything. So you are a seeing person. Nahi kadachit bhagavan susutmaya chaitan manva kinjit dushtam, but I repeat, in deep sleep state I do not see anything conscious or unconscious thing. How do I say I see? When I say that in deep sleep state I do not see, you say you see. That statement shows that you see. Why I say I don't see? Pashyantare sushuptetvam, that means that in deep sleep also you are seeing. Jasmat dushtameva pratishetasi na drushtim. Because when you say I do not see anything, you know what you are negating? You are negating the object of your seeing. I do not see anything, meaning that anything is rejected, anything is negated. When you say I do not see anything, what you are negating is the object of seeing. But you are not negating seeing itself because I do not see anything, because I see nothing. So seeing is there. Na dushte, na dushtim pratishedasi. Yatava dushti tat chaitanyam. The dushti, that seeing, is a consciousness. Iti maya uktam. Seeing is not consciousness. Seeing is consciousness, that's what I said. The seeing is always there, and what you do not see, because the object of seeing is not there in deep sleep. All this quoted here, well, that comes later, right? Yeah. Yadvaitanna pashyati, pashyanvaitanna pashyati. That one does not see anything in deep sleep state, seeing one does not see. Nahi drashtu dushte viparilopa vidyate. There is a viparilopa, there is an absence of seeing, but not absence of seeing. The sight of the seer never suffers a cessation. Ya tvam vidyamanaya na kinchit dushtamiti pratishesasi ya dushtya. The dushti by which you say that I do not see anything, that is there, and that is your chaitanyam, that's yourself. Tari saratra vicharat kursa nityatam siddham sataheva. Your very statement that I do not see anything in deep sleep itself establishes that you are seeing the absence of everything. So seeing is your nature, consciousness is your nature, therefore sarvatra vicharat. You have no problem in accepting that you see in waking. No problem accepting you see in dream. But by saying that I do not see anything in deep sleep, you are saying that you are seeing in deep sleep also. Therefore, the seeing is always there in all the three states. Kutasa nityatam siddham swataheva. And therefore, it is self-established that you are changeless, eternal, that is self-established. No pramana. You do not require anybody else to tell you that. You yourself know that you are changeless consciousness. Meaning that you don't need to know that you are changeless consciousness because you see or hear. It is not that your changelessness is established because you see, because you hear. Your changelessness, consciousness is established because there is seeing. Absence of what is seen or absence of what is heard is not required. It's not the pramana. So you do not need any reason to arrive at the conclusion that you exist, that you shine. Because your shining is non-negatable, is never negated. And so it is self-established that you are changeless consciousness. That's very important. That you are changeless consciousness is established not because even Upanishad says that. Upanishad doesn't say that Atma exists. Upanishad does not say Atma shines. Upanishad doesn't even say anything. You know what Upanishad says? It says something with reference to what you are saying. I said that I am one among many. She says you are not. You are non-dual. So whatever Upanishad tells me, it tells me to refute my conclusion, to negate the ignorance. It doesn't tell me about Atma really, because I don't need to. That I am is self-established. I don't need to be told that you exist. But that I am one among many, that's what I think, then I need to be told that you exist is non-dual. Existence is non-dual. So Upanishad also is not a pramana with reference to establishing existence of Atma, or establishing consciousness of Atma. Upanishad is pramana merely to remove my ignorance, that's all. It's called pramana, but it's not pramana in a conventional sense. Pramana is that which brings about the abhaditam, anadhigatam, what is unknown and what is not knowable otherwise, that which reveals that is called Pramanam. Atma is always known. So Upanishad is not Pramanam in that sense. We still call it Pramanam because that is the only one that tells you that there is ignorance in my life and how ignorance manifests as various notions and tells me how those notions are wrong, makes me see how my notions are wrong, and enables me to see my true nature. In that sense, it is Pramanam. Svata siddhasya pramatu anyasya prameyasya parichityam prati pramanapeksha. This pramata, the knower, is svata siddha. I am self-established, self-existing. Anything other than me requires always a proof for it being there. I do not require a proof that I am. Do you know that you are? I am. How do you say I am? Without reason I say. That there is a clock here, that you can say because I see. Otherwise, existence of clock cannot be established. A clock which is different from this knower requires a means of knowledge for establishing its existence. Yato anya nitya parichiti apekshate anyasya parichiti rupasya parichedaya sai nitya eva kutastha swam jyoti svabhava. But then, as far as Atma is concerned, the Atma is Abnaya Swam Jyoti, self-existing, self-shining, kutastha, changeless. And they have heard that knowledge also is changeless. So knowledge is true to the object of knowledge. If object of knowledge is changing, the knowledge or impermanent, then knowledge also is impermanent. Pot is an impermanent entity, the pot knowledge also is impermanent, because when the cloth comes then the pot knowledge goes. But Atma never comes and goes. Therefore, the knowledge of Atma also is permanent. The Prama, the knowledge also is permanent. Not only I am permanent, but my knowledge about myself also is permanent, because I do not require any means of knowledge to know that I am. I don't require means of knowledge to know that I shine. Ahamasmi, sadabhami, kadachinnaham apriya. I don't need anybody to tell me I know it. Only thing that I need to know with the help of Upanishad is that aham asmi, aham bhami means non-dual. That aham is not this body, not the mind, not the intellect, not the karta bhokta. That's what I need to know. Then asti bhati priyam established is non-dual, and that it is limitless, non-dual is the fact. I create duality by identifying with what I am not. So Upanishad doesn't establish that asti is non-dual. It is. It has to make me see. That is where the pramanyam comes. Upanishad is a methodology of teaching which enables me to see as to how my conclusions are wrong and how I can arrive at the true knowledge of that. Ahamasmi is self-existing. It is formless, changeless, kutastha. Atmani pramanatve pramadutva natam prati pramanapeksha. Therefore, I am, we don't require the means of knowledge. That I am pramata. No, pramata is not in primary sense. That I am a knower, meaning that I eliminate everything. Here, pramata means only chit swarupa. Atmani pramanatva, that I am is self-existing and is self-revealing, that I am a pramata, meaning that I am a knower, an eternal knower, understand? Natam prati, for that I don't need anybody to tell me, I don't need any effort to know that I am, or that I am shining, that I am illuminating, shining, consciousness. That's swabhavat, because to be and to shine is my nature. Yatha prakashanam ushnatvam va lohodakadishu parato apekshate. Just as in iron, lohapinda, in a ball of iron. If the ball of iron illumines something, if a ball of iron burns something, that is because of something else, fire. If the water burns something, because of fire. Water illumines something because of sun, reflected sun. So this non-burning substance, when it burns something, then that burning is due to something else. If non-shining substance illumines something, that also illumination is due to something else. But one for whom Agni, fire, for which the burning is a nature, doesn't need anything else. Sun of whose nature it is to illumine, doesn't need anything else. So to be and to shine is the nature of Atma, doesn't require any means of knowledge to establish that, self-established. Sada tasvabhavatvad. Okay, rest of the thing we'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.